If you don't think about yourself, who will? That's the question. One of the most important questions you'll ever ask. Not in arrogance, not in pride, but in responsibility. Because, my friend, you are the most important person in the room. And I don't mean that to put anyone else down. I mean that to lift you up. You see, life gets better when you get better. When I was just getting started in life, I used to think, well, maybe the government will fix things. Maybe my boss will recognize me. Maybe somebody will come along and make it all okay. Let me tell you, I waited a long time, and nothing changed. And then one day I heard the phrase that changed my life forever. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. That day I realized something powerful. If I wanted my world to improve, I had to start thinking about myself, not in a selfish way, but in a strategic way. A growth-focused way? Let me ask you this. When was the last time you really thought about you? Not your job, not your responsibilities, not your problems, your thoughts, your dreams, your direction. If it's been a while, that's a sign, because no one else is going to carry that responsibility for you. People will tell you, don't think about yourself so much. Just focus on others. Don't be self-centered. Now I agree. Don't be selfish. Don't be self-absorbed. But you must be self-aware. That's where it all begins. You can't change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. That is something you have charge of. And that change begins with thought. Deep, honest, consistent thought about yourself. You know, they say the average person spends more time planning a 2-week vacation than they do planning their life. Let that sink in. We prepare our suitcases with more care than we prepare our minds. But if your thoughts are the steering wheel of your life, wouldn't you want to know where they're going? Wouldn't you want to guide them? That's why this message is important. Because you are the one steering the ship. Let me give you a word of warning. If you don't take time to think about yourself, someone else will do the thinking for you. The media, the crowd, the critics, the doubters. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day living someone else's version of success. And nothing is more painful than that. So what do? You begin today. You carve out time. You reflect. You journal. You ask questions. Questions like, what kind of person am I becoming? What habits am I building? What do I really want 5 years from now? Because the truth is, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. But you won't know which disciplines to practice until you start thinking about you. One of my mentors told me, Jim, you're the CEO of your own life. And I never forgot that, because CEOs don't wait around. CEOs make decisions. They think strategically. They monitor progress. They adjust course. So why not think about yourself the same way? Look at yourself honestly. Evaluate, not with judgment, but with clarity. Who am I right now? And who do I want to become? That's how it begins. I want you to remember this. The most important relationship in your life is the one you have with yourself, your confidence, your discipline, your vision. Because once those things are strong, you can build anything. So no, this isn't about being selfish. It's about being responsible. Take care of you for me. That's what you say to the world. Because the better you are for everyone else. So let's make a new commitment, starting today, not to ignore others, not to withdraw, but to finally start doing the deep, honest work of thinking about yourself. Not once, not sometimes, always. Because you, my friend, are the most important person in the room. Most people want the good life, nice house, nice car, nice income. Nothing wrong with that. But here's the truth. You can't build a beautiful life on a broken foundation. Success is not something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And becoming that person starts on the inside. The inner always comes before the outer. The roots come before the fruit. The character comes before the cash. Too many people chase results, but they forget the cause. You don't need a better job. You need to become a better person. You don't need more money. You need more value. We don't get paid for time. We get paid for value. Bring value to the marketplace, and the marketplace will reward you. So the question is, how do you increase your value? Work on yourself. Read the books. Learn the skills. Build the mindset. That's how you grow from the inside. You want to make the outside better. Start by making the inside stronger. Because if you don't have the mindset for success, even if you get the opportunity, you won't hold it. You'll lose it. You'll waste it. You'll blow it. Why? Because success can't live in a weak structure. It will crush you instead of bless you. I've seen it happen. A man gets rich quick, but he didn't grow first. And now the money is gone because the mindset wasn't ready. That's the danger. External growth without internal discipline is a setup for disaster. So build the inner you. Build your philosophy. Build your attitude. Build your habits. Let me share something with you. Don't ask for less problems. Ask for more wisdom. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. It's not the weight that breaks you. It's how you carry it. It's who you are inside. If you grow stronger, the weight feels lighter. This is what changed my life. At 25, I met a mentor. He told me, Jim, if you want things to change, don't work on the company. Work on yourself. That hit me. I was looking at everything outside, the economy, the paychecks, the people. But I wasn't looking inside. And when I started, things began to shift. I read books. I wrote down goals. I tracked my progress. I started becoming a better version of me. And soon the outer life caught up. That's the key. If you want more, become more. If you want different, think different. You can't build a mansion with plastic tools. You need the right equipment. And the right tools are built inside you. Discipline, clarity, focus, purpose. You see, the world responds to who you are, not who you pretend to be, not who you hope to be, who you are. And who you are is built by what you do daily, the small habits, the early mornings, the extra effort, the personal time to reflect and improve. That's the real work. Most people decorate their house, but never clean up their mind. They polish the car, but let their self-talk fall apart. Don't do that. Treat your mind like a temple. Treat your heart like a garden. Pull the weeds. Plant new seeds. Water them daily. Because in the end, success is something you attract by the person you become. So become the person. Start with the inside. Build the inner you before the outer you, and watch your life transform. There's something powerful I learned early on. It doesn't matter what the world thinks of you. What matters is what you think of you. We spend too much time worrying about opinions. Too much energy trying to please everybody. Too much effort proving our worth to people who aren't even watching. That's not the game. That's not the path. Here's the truth. You can't live a strong life with a weak opinion of yourself. What you think of you shapes everything. Your attitude, your confidence, your decisions. It determines how high you'll reach and how low you'll tolerate. Because your life rises or falls to the level of your self-image. Don't misunderstand. I'm not talking about arrogance. Not about pretending. I'm talking about quiet confidence. The kind that says, I know who I am. I know what I bring. And I don't need approval to stay committed. That's power. And that power comes from inside. Let me give you something to think about. Other people see you the way you see yourself. If you walk in defeated, people treat you that way. If you walk in certain, they respect it. If you walk in unsure, they can smell it. So fix your walk, fix your mind. Fix your inner mirror. Most people walk around with someone else's voice in their head. A parent who didn't believe in them. A teacher who shut them down. A friend who laughed at their dream. But that voice doesn't belong in your future. The real voice that matters. Your own. What do you say when you look in the mirror? What do you whisper when no one's around? That's the difference between a weak life and a strong one. Now listen. The world is full of critics. And critics are cheap. They don't pay the price. They don't carry the burden. They just talk. Don't trade your dream for their comfort. Don't let small minds drag down your big vision. I used to care a lot about what people thought. Until I realized something. No one's thinking about you as much as you think they are. They've got their own life, their own worries, their own insecurities. So stop shrinking to fit their box. You were never made to fit. You were made to stand out. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But let me add something to that. You're also the average of the 5 thoughts you think about yourself every day. So check your thinking. Are your thoughts lifting you or limiting you? Are you your own cheerleader or your own worst enemy? If you want others to believe in you, start by believing in yourself. If you want others to trust you, start by trusting your own judgment. If you want others to respect you, start by living in a way that earns your own respect. Because once you have that, you stop chasing validation. You stop explaining yourself. You stop proving. You just become. So here's the action today. Sit down, get quiet, and ask yourself one question. What do I truly think about me? Write it down. Be honest. And if you don't like the answer, don't panic. Change it. Because if you can fix the inside, the outside will follow. Remember, you don't rise to their expectations. You rise to your own beliefs. So raise the bar, strengthen your mind, and always remember what you think of you is more important than what they think of you. One of the greatest tragedies in life is when people treat themselves like an afterthought. They take care of everyone else. They solve everyone's problems. They show up for every request, but they forget to show up for themselves. Now, let me tell you something I've learned. If you don't make yourself a priority, you will always be somebody's backup plan. And if you do that long enough, you'll forget what your own plan was. You'll wake up one day, realize you've spent all your energy, all your time, all your attention, but none of it on your own dreams. That's not success, that's self-betrayal. People say, Jim, isn't it selfish to think of yourself first? No, it's responsible. You can't take care of others if you're empty. You can't give your best if you're running on fumes. You've got to strengthen your roots before you bear fruit for others. And that means making yourself a priority. Let me give you a key principle of life. What you tolerate, you encourage. If you tolerate people taking your time, if you tolerate being overlooked, if you tolerate burnout, you're telling the world, this is okay. But it's not okay. It's not okay to say yes out of guilt. It's not okay to ignore your own needs. It's not okay to put yourself last and call it humility. That's not humility. That's a setup for regret. You were not born to be a doormat. You were born to be a door opener. And you can't open doors if your own life is shut down. You've got to rise. You've got to strengthen. You've got to build. And that means saying something powerful. I matter too. Now let me talk to you about time. Time is your most precious currency. Not money, not talent, not connections. Time. And every minute you give away without intention is a minute you never get back. So don't let people steal your hours. Don't let distractions drain your energy. You wouldn't let someone take money from your pocket. Why let them take hours from your future? People often ask me, Jim, how do I start becoming successful? I say start by respecting your schedule. Block out time to grow. Block out time to think. Block out time to rest and treat that time like it's sacred. Because it is. The future is built in the hours nobody sees. The future is built in the choices nobody applauds. You've got to schedule your own progress. If you don't, the world will fill your calendar with distractions. And guess what? The world doesn't care about your goals. It cares about what it needs from you. That's why you've got to care about your goals fiercely. Let me tell you something simple but life-changing. You teach others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. If you value your time, others will too. If you protect your peace, others will respect it. If you take yourself seriously, others will take you seriously. But if you're always available, always exhausted, always sacrificing your own goals, don't be surprised when no one takes your dreams seriously. because you haven't. So how do you start? You start with boundaries. Boundaries protect what matters. You don't build a garden with no fence. You build it, you protect it, you nurture it. Your life is that garden. And if you don't protect it, it will be overrun with weeds, distractions, demands, and drama. So draw the line. Say no when needed. Say yes to things that nourish you. Make time for that morning walk. Make space to read that book. Make effort to write your goals down daily. That's not selfish. That's wise. Because if you collapse, what happens to the people who depend on you? If your mind is cluttered, how do you make clear decisions? If your dreams fade, what kind of example are you leaving behind? You can't help anyone from the ground. So stand up. Stand tall. One of the best decisions you'll ever make is to stop negotiating with yourself about your priorities. You've got to be all in. All in on your health. All in on your learning. All in on your peace. All in on your vision. Because no one else is going to fight for you like you. No one is coming to remind you to grow. No one is coming to protect your time. No one is coming to set your goals for you. That's your job. You're not optional. Not in your own life. You're not a side note. You're the main character. Act like it. Because when you make yourself a priority, the quality of your decisions improves. The quality of your relationships improves. The direction of your life improves. And you stop living on accident and start living on purpose. Take care of you. Because your future depends on it. Let me say something very important. You don't build your life from the outside in. You build it from the inside out. The inside comes first. Always. Not your job, not your title, not your bank account, not your social media following. You. You are the foundation. And if the foundation is weak, it doesn't matter how fancy the structure looks. You may drive a nice car. You may wear a fine suit. You may know all the right people. But if the person inside isn't strong, you're building on sand. And you know what happens to sand when the storm comes? It collapses. Let me tell you something I learned early in life. You can't borrow strength. You can't rent character. You can't fake resilience. You either built it or you didn't. And the building starts when no one's watching. In the early morning hours, in quiet decisions, in private moments. Success is not a performance, it's a reflection. It's the result of preparation. And that preparation, that inner development, is your real work. One day, I asked my mentor, how do I build a better life? He said, simple. Build a better you. Not a busier you. Not a louder you. Not a more popular you. A better you. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Because if you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. So let me ask you, what kind of foundation are you building? Is it made of excuses or discipline? Is it built on emotion or principle? Are you depending on motivation or relying on systems? Because here's what happens, life will test you. It always does. The storms come. The pressure rises. The critics show up. And when they do, you fall back on your foundation. You fall back on your training. You fall back on your habits. You fall back on your values. So you better make sure it's strong. And here's how you build it. With discipline. With consistency. With personal integrity. Discipline says I do what needs to be done, even when I don't feel like it. Consistency says I don't take breaks from becoming better. Integrity says I honor the promises I make to myself. Stack these three. Reinforce them daily. And you create a foundation no storm can shake. Let me give you a truth that's not popular today. Success is not about appearance. It's about substance. You don't need flash. You need follow through. You don't need more noise. You need more self-control. And here's another one. Confidence doesn't come from praise. It comes from preparation. It comes from knowing that you've done the work, that you've earned your growth, that your results are built on a rock-solid base of habits, not hopes. You've got to be proud of the person you're becoming. You've got to wake up and say, I trust me. Can you trust yourself? When you say, I'll wake up early, do you? When you say, I'll follow through, do you? That's where belief is built. Not in hype, not in cheering, but in keeping your word to yourself. Let me tell you what else matters: your standards. See, you don't get what you want. You get what you tolerate. If your standard is low, you'll accept excuses. You'll accept laziness. You'll accept second best. But if your standard is excellence, you rise. You demand more from yourself. You challenge yourself. You grow. You must raise the bar for you. That's how you build something lasting. And don't forget this: you set the tone for your life. Not your boss, not your parents, not your friends. You decide your morning routine. You decide how you respond to adversity. You decide what books you read, what food you eat, what words you speak. Brick by brick, you're shaping your future. So don't rush it. Don't skip steps. Don't try to impress the world before you've impressed yourself. Now here's a final truth I'll leave you with. You are not your results. You are the cause of your results. Your income is a reflection. Your relationships are reflections. Your confidence is a reflection. Everything mirrors what's inside. So if you want better results, don't chase them. Change you. Because the foundation you build will either support your dreams or shatter under pressure. So today, decide to be the kind of person you can depend on. Decide to stop hoping for a better life and start building one. Decide to take full ownership of who you are and who you're becoming. Because you are the foundation. And if you build it strong, you can hold anything.